the really important thing when you're leading this first exciting session with a small ensemble is to give your students a kind of musical blanket of security. The last thing we want is for them to see improvisation as some separate skill that they've got to learn. That would defeat the very object of this first session, which is all about cutting to the chase, which is all about experiencing small ensemble performance right from that session one. So we don't want to scare them off with thinking that this is something to do with theory, about modulation, about understanding counterpoint. We don't want them to feel that they need grade 5 theory to take part in this. So it's all about breaking it down, making it comfortable for them. And I just want to explore some of the ways in which we as teachers can lead this. Now, it can be led from any instrument. Obviously, most schools have a piano. A lot of teachers are piano trained, even if it's not their first study. I'm a pianist, so I tend to lead this on the piano, but the areas I'm talking about here are not specific pianistic areas. This could be led from a cello, a wind instrument, whatever it might be. It could even be percussion led, because this is all about pulse and phrase. What we're doing here is setting up a musical travelator for our students to step on. So the key is simplicity. To really keep a pulse going and to emphasize upbeat, so they're always feeling that sense of lift, that sense of direction. So something that even with let's say just one hand on the piano and just a 3-note pattern that gives that feeling of continuity and that feeling of lift. Something like this, for example. Now, of course, we can make that a little bit more interesting. We can add two hands, whatever it might be. But even one note, something that really makes them feel secure is important. Another example would be this. Just something that cycles over and over again that they can then internalize and really feel in that way. And it's when you get that cycle of pulse going, it's when you get that sense of phrase going, they're not counting bars in the phrases, they're not worrying about how many phrases it is, they're just feeling it naturally, that you will feel as the teacher that magical moment when you can step back from leading them. That will be the point where they're playing very securely, where they're feeling the pulse. And then you can suddenly stop. And at that point, they're making chamber music. They're performing as small ensemble performers, and they're setting sail. It might be that you stop and the moment is slightly wrong and the thing collapses, in which case, not a problem. You can go right back to giving them that pulse again. But it will work. It will happen within session one if pulse and phrase are placed as the most important points.